Tonight, ABC is launching a major project. It's called Soul of a Nation, and it's a new primetime series that will be dedicated to telling stories about Black life in America. Like in Evanston, Illinois, now the first American city to fund reparations. Eligible residents will be paid up to $25,000 each to use for housing. Now activists hope Evanston can be a blueprint for other cities. One of the hosts of this groundbreaking series, ABC's BYRON Pitts, will join us in just a moment. But first, here's a preview of tonight's special. Take a look.
I was looking at data. I was looking at what we had done, what more can we do, and reparations was the only answer.
The only answer?
The only answer.
Only answer.
The only, any more of the same was going to only, at best, help us sustain the oppressed state and the disparity that we have and that we have had for years.
A national reparations policy is a moral, democratic, and economic imperative.
House Resolution 40, named as a nod to 40 Acres and a Mule, is the latest national step towards reparations. Its supporters including actor and activist Danny Glover.
H.R. 40 was an opportunity to have a commission to study reparations, but also the further context in which we look at slavery and the impact that it had on us.
So you think Evanston could be an example for the nation?
I think if we're able to use that as a platform, maybe other cities might adopt the whole idea of this.
And Nightline co-anchor and correspondent for this groundbreaking series, BYRON Pitts, joins us now live. BYRON, thanks for being here. I know you're a busy man, and we appreciate it.
Great to be with you, my friend.
This series, it really is incredible, and it takes us into the Black experience in America. What should we expect to see tonight?
I think, for one, I think the viewers will see a high-quality production. In many ways, this looks like a movie that you're watching for an hour. I think you'll be taken from that, and it's wide-ranging. I mean, we'll look at some serious issues. There's music. You know, John Legend will perform at the end. There'll be a performance at the end of every show. And our friend and colleague Eric Johnson, who's the co-executive producer, I think framed it really well. We began working on this project months ago. He said he wanted Soul of the Nation to be like a Black family reunion. Now, we'll invite our white friends, our Asian, Latino friends, gay, straight, everybody's welcome. Please come on into the reunion. But it's our reunion. That means the ribs and the chicken, we're going to cook it our way. The sweet tea is going to be made our way. The potato salad, our way. The music, ours. And like all of us who've ever been to a family reunion, you know that at a family reunion, hard truths are spoken. Loss and heartache are recognized. Victories are celebrated. And so I think every Tuesday night, we hope to do that, to look at the Black experience, not to give a kiss to Black America, but to say, this is a segment of, if you see America as this beautiful quilt, then one of the fabrics, one of the pieces of cloth of that quilt is the Black American experience. And we hope to show people that that very specific experience is very much a part of the American experience.
And a piece of the quilt that hasn't gotten much attention in history and needs it now. And BYRON, on that note, I know that this project was very close to your heart. I'm sure same goes for everyone else who worked on it. What was it like to put this series together?
Oh, I said on a network conference call this morning, for me it was the answer of prayer. And people who know me, I'm a person of faith, and it shapes a lot of my life. Look, you know, what I love about this project is that we apply all the great standards of the best of professional journalism. We apply, you know, ABC News, Walt Disney, we are a company of storytellers. And we believe in the power of the narrative. And as you know, at ABC News and at Walt Disney, that diversity and inclusion is fundamental to our culture. And so, as I've said in a couple of meetings, you know, I've been a professional journalist for 40 years. So hopefully I know a couple things about journalism. But I've been Black for 60 years. And hopefully I know a few things about my particular experience as a man of color. And so my colleagues, we have people all across ABC News, men and women, the best at what they do, who are also people of color, who bring their professional experience and their life experiences to this work.
So, Byron, what will we understand differently after watching the series, especially those of us who haven't lived the Black experience in America?
I want to believe that in some ways, in a high production quality way, that this project begins to sort of connect the dots in this great American experiment that we're all a part of. I think about one of the stories I'm working on is about reparations, and we go to Evanston, Illinois, a suburb of Chicago. And Evanston will be the first city in America this spring to pay reparations to African Americans, beginning in the spring, about $25,000 per person for housing. And here's how they got there. They did research and looked at from 1919 to 1969 in Evanston, Illinois, home of Northwestern University, this proudly liberal city. That from 1919 to 1969, on the books were laws specifically designed to discriminate specifically against Black people, to deny them housing opportunities. And there were economic consequences that came out of that, those laws intended to discriminate. So there's an ability in this case to measure the impact of racism when it came to housing. So Evanston decided, in this racial reckoning that the country is in right now, let's look at reparations. And as they explained it to me, reparations in many ways, as they see it, is like restitution. Anywhere in America, if someone breaks into your home and they're caught, and when they break into your house, they steal your TV, they steal your computer, well, they can never restore the sense of safety that you may have had before your home was violated. But they can pay you back for the TV and the computer. And so that's what Evanston is attempting to do at reparations. And so I think we connect, so we will help the nation connect it out. And the last thing I'll say about that, you and I know as parents, and I know Terry knows this as well as a father, that one of the many things we teach our children is we teach them to become comfortable with the uncomfortable. That's part of learning. And so we will have the uncomfortable conversation about a variety of topics. That's important. And we'll also celebrate things that are unique and special about the African-American experience.
And Byron, we learned today about the death of Vernon Jordan. Talk a little bit, if you can, about his legacy and how he'll be remembered.
Oh, Vernon Jordan was a giant. I'm not sure how tall he was, but he was at least 6'4". And just as a personality, he was twice as tall as that. I mean, Vernon Jordan, just his bio, he was the head of the Urban League in his early 30s. This major, significant organization was entrusted in the hands of a young man in his early 30s. He's a graduate of Howard University Law School, the same school that produced our vice president in undergrad, produced a man like Vernon Jordan, an accomplished lawyer. And he was the friend of the powerful. As it's well known, he was good friends with our former president, Bill Clinton. In fact, he was chairman of the Clinton transition team, a first for a man of color in this country to lead the transition of power at the White House. And as I thought about him today, I've interviewed him a couple of times. He was also one of these, he wasn't simply a mentor to a number of people for generations. He was also a sponsor. He would put coin in the game to assist the next generation of young people, in particular young people of color, to advance in their careers. That if you had the goods, Vernon Jordan was someone who could support you and open the door. As I see it, in many ways, Vernon Jordan was a tailored suit version of John Lewis, that he too was a civil rights activist. He too believed in getting into good trouble. He didn't get into good trouble necessarily at demonstrations and in Selma and in jailhouses. He got in good trouble in corporate boardrooms, in creating opportunities for oftentimes people of color to be successful in corporate America. So I think, I know this year there are two women of color who are named CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. I bet you $1, both of them have a story about how in some way along the way that either Vernon Jordan helped them or made a phone call to make something possible for them. He was an elegant man, and he will be missed.
Byron Pitts, friend, it's great to have you. I cannot wait to watch tonight.
Thank you.
And you at home can watch the premiere of Soul of a Nation tonight at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 Central on ABC.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.